What? No, I'm telling you. I think it's either going to be.
I think it's going to be something with Jon Snow getting together.
See, that's boring.
Yeah.
I think what's his buddy's name? His buddy's name that ran off with the wildling. Why am I forgetting it? Sam.
I don't
Sam.
know. This
Sam
show's
wins
been
the
off
Game of
air
Thrones
for like 3 years.
I think Sam's going to win the Game of Thrones. So they're going to throw a whole loop for it. It turns out
There you go.
he's been the hero the entire time.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's how it's going to work out. So we just solved that. No need to talk about it. Hello, everyone. This is Between the Streams. This is our weekly entertainment podcast where we talk about movies and television and everything happening in the world of that. We're broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube in addition to being a podcast. And if you're just joining us right now, we've got a lot of stuff as usual that we're going to be talking about today. But we have to talk about what's happening on Sunday, and that is the return of Game of Thrones.
Westworld?
No.
Oh, right.
We will talk about Westworld, though. No, Game of Thrones returning this Sunday. We should start off here. I'm Greg Nibbler.
I'm Ryan Juanita.
And we have proposed a question out there right now, and I want to see what people think about this. If you have some theories, what your Game of Thrones theories are, who you think will be left standing is the question we had. Who will be left standing after this season of Game of Thrones? Like, who's gonna win the Game of Thrones?
Well, on this season, we still have another season too.
We do.
But
It's
yeah,
gonna be
we'll
split
have to
up.
see who holds on for this one.
Who you think is going to win. And we've got a bunch of different fan theories that are out there right now. And so these aren't really spoilers. These are just theories that people have about what's going to happen with this season.
Yeah.
You know, and coming back into this, now it seems like we're on a collision course for everybody to finally meet up. Maybe.
Yeah, they're going to have to close down a lot of arcs that are just flying around out there.
There are so many story arcs that come into this. And that
Which they helped do that in Season 6, because Season 5, it was just like everybody just like flew across the world and flung somewhere, and nobody knew what
nobody knew
anybody
what
else
was going on.
doing. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And now we're down to this.
The easiest fix was just having Cersei blow everybody.
Yeah. Okay, Jade, I'm not going to read your theory, but I think she agreed not to do that anymore. I think that's in her contract. Sue says Tyrion is going to win the Game of Thrones. Like, Tyrion will be left standing. I think so too. I think he'll
stick around,
but I think Tyrion will make it on to the next season of the split season. Tyrion will make it past that. But you never know, though. That's the problem with Game of Thrones. You know, if you've watched it, you know you can never expect anybody to live. Like, they'll kill off anyone.
And all of
moment's notice.
I mean, I certainly thought that Ned Stark was going to be the hero throughout.
Exactly.
And then first book.
Yeah. Sorry.
Which
spoilers.
I did read the book. That's not a spoiler.
Well, yeah, there it is. So,
but speaking of Ned Stark, that's one of the theories that we have, that he didn't die.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is kind of
part
insane.
Of it. Well, so as we're getting you, and again, if you're just tuning in right now, go ahead and let us know who you think's going to be left standing, who you think maybe would ultimately win the Game of Thrones. If you have a theory, throw it in, and we're going to run through some of the main theories that Ryan's actually meticulously gone through.
Actually,
here.
Will Nickel
did
help do the research, and he's got a piece that we're going to publish about this. So.
Okay, so there's a Digital Trends article that's going to go up kind of about these, but I know you've read through them a little bit more than I have, so maybe we can go through some of these. Again, this is Game of Thrones heavy right now. We'll be talking about some other things here in a bit, but I am very, very excited that it's going to be back. And let's see. Maybe we should just go down your list here.
Well, sure. Well, let's talk about the Ned Stark one.
Okay.
The Ned Stark one is interesting because we all saw him get decapitated.
Yes, and again, there's going to be some spoilers if you haven't watched any of it yet.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, so
if you haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, though, it's like, how are you not spoiled?
Yeah,
there's like no way you could not be spoiled. No, at this point.
Yeah, pretty much, especially with Ned Stark.
Yeah,
so
unless you've been living off the grid.
So Ned Stark.
So the idea is the faceless men. They can look like anybody, but you know we've all seen Ned Stark's head on a spike and everything.
Right.
But the idea is that Jacques Hoir, or whatever that guy's name is.
I just want to hear you try to say it.
Hoir, copied Ned's face and died in his place. And then the idea is that Cyril Farrell, who was the guy that taught Arya swordplay, that he copied Jacquin's face. And,
this is already...
and so he's been Jacquin the whole time. But the idea is, this one's a pretty far-fetched one.
Yeah.
But the idea is that, the faceless men can look like anybody. And also, Syrio said a phrase when he was talking to Arya that was almost word for word the same as Jacquin Haguar. And they're also from the same place. They're also from they're from the head. He's also from the headquarters place of the Faceless Men, where Arya goes. I can't remember what the island's called right now because there's too many damn names.
So many names, yeah.
But yeah, you remember where in this season where it was like all like chess piece looking, and she went into that huge columned building, and became learned how to be a Faceless Man. He's from, I think it's Bravo, but he's from that same place.
Okay, yeah, it is Bravo.
Syrio is. So that's where this comes from. But
that Ned Stark isn't actually dead.
And Ned Stark's going to come back. Yeah.
I don't know about
that.
Yeah,
that one's a little far-fetched. Some of these are less far-fetched.
Kind of with Jade. Y'all are blowing my mind right now. That's a lot. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Game of Thrones, but that seems like a lot to throw in. Oh, by the way, he was alive the entire time he's been near you.
Ned Stark! Yeah. I mean, it was such a... It threw me off so much. I was like, I love that Boromir dude, And,
But that was Ned
he's
Stark
back.
the whole time? Oh...
We'll
All right. Well, that's one theory.
That's one theory. Another one that's very far out there that we think is basically dead right now is the Clegan Bowl, which was gonna be the mountain against the Hound.
Why? I want that. Why is that squashed?
The reason it's squashed probably is because Cersei was in trouble. From the High Sparrow and everything,
right?
The Faith, and she was going to have a trial by combat.
Yeah,
and everyone kind of figured that she would have her reincarnation of the Mountain as the her champion, of course, and then that the Faith would pick the Hound.
Okay, yeah.
He's got reasons to kill him, and also in the books, I guess he sort of.
Kind of religious.
Becomes more religious, yeah.
Which did happen in the series,
atones for his scenes. Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little different the way it happens in the series. But the idea was, so the Faith would call in the Hound. He would come in and hopefully defeat the Mountain.
Right.
The guy that burned his face when he was a kid and basically ruined his life.
Okay.
But now that Cersei, again, I guess spoiler. I don't know. This is the end of season 6, so I don't know what to say.
This is where we're at.
Cersei made a thing happen so that she didn't need it anymore. Let's put it that way. She didn't need the trial, and I think also the Faith also made trial by combat like illegal or something like that at the time. Anyway, so it's a lot less likely the Clegan Bowl is going to happen, but they still could fight. You just don't know.
The
Hound could show up.
Yes,
they still
I want that. I will pay for that.
We'll have to create some kind of storyline for that to happen.
I would pay money just to watch that. I'd pay for that over like McGregor Mayweather.
It would be awesome.
Pay for the Hound versus the Mountain. Yeah, way more. Way more
for the
interested
fight.
in that. Yeah.
I got the fight, you guys.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Right.
Okay, so that's possibly out there. So what are some theories that you think could be happening? And maybe, let's take a look because we are.
Then there are some theories that are almost telegraphed by the show that are true.
Yeah, and again, at the end of season 6, so we have had some trailers coming out for season 7. And this is kind of one of the latest ones, or the main one, showcasing each one of the characters in their different spot, their different positions. It seems like they're on a collision course,
right?
They show the map, they show kind of where everybody's at, and the main players, Cersei, kind of getting back to power. Jaime, you've got Khaleesi. Jon Snow,
right,
and then of course the White Walkers,
right.
So
there's a whole lot of stuff going on. All right, so
again, that's why Sam's going to win.
The theories that I think are much more probable, and basically, if you watch much of 5 and 6, this one seems very probable. Is that Bran, who can now project his voice back in time,
right?
And
poor Hodor
basically talk to his dad back in time when his sister was having,
right,
who later turned out to be
spoilers,
Jon Snow. Yeah. So basically,
there's no way
they
we can
show
get around
that is possible
spoilers.
that Bran is projecting himself. So the idea is that Bran was not probably knowingly using his powers as the same thing he did with Hodor. Was basically talking to the Mad King, and there's even some things that he could have said, like set them on fire, which may be the way to kill the White Walkers. That's another theory. So what they say is that he was saying set them on fire, like kill the White Walkers, but it was driving
the king mad,
Targaryen mad,
setting people on fire.
So then he set his own subjects on fire, leading Jaime to kill him and later get the name Kingslayer. However, that also leads into our next theory.
Okay,
which I like think is even theory. More probable.
I like that theory. Okay,
which is that Jaime, the Kingslayer, who is prophesized. So Cersei has a prophecy, right? That all her children would die, among other things. And the idea is that she's gone mad, and she blew up her own subjects. Right. And so once again, Jaime is going to be forced to kill the mad ruler. This time, his incestuous lover, slash sister slash psychopath. Cersei.
God, such a soap
so
opera.
that basically, and I think the idea really makes sense that Jaime is on this comeback trail. He's been on this comeback trail for about 3 seasons now, where he has sort of, knowingly become a better person through his relationship with Brienne, all of the different things, getting his hand cut off and everything. So the idea is that he will once again have to step up and become sort of the anti-hero hero and kill his, lover and become the Queen Slayer to stop her from basically blowing up everyone in the kingdom.
So Jaime may be the Queen Slayer.
Exactly. That's what I've been calling it, the Queen Slayer theory.
Yeah. That's great.
And I think that is very, very likely just because of how poetic it all is, and it also fulfills the prophecy. There's more to it than just her children dying. She's like supposed to die as well, and everything has come true. All 3 of her kids have died. So I can't remember how it exactly goes, but I think she's supposed to die by someone who loves her or something like that too. So it's like really probable, I think.
All right, taking a look at some of the other theories coming through here, and again, we're going to talk about some other stuff going on too here in just a few. But talking about Game of Thrones, since it is premiering this weekend, the season 7. Let's see. Chelsea says the White Walkers are going to win. They're all going to die. That would be the ultimate Game of Thrones plot twist. That's true.
They could do that.
It could be. Yeah, it's just winter came. You're all dead.
That totally sounds like something they do.
That could be. Chelsea says because she is supposed to be, so talking about Cersei, she's supposed to be killed by a younger brother.
There it is.
She has
that's
two
what
of
it
those.
is. Sorry. Yeah, that's what it is. A younger brother. And a lot of people thought it was going to be Tyrion. But the fact is that Jaime came out a few seconds after her, being a younger brother.
Right.
So everyone thought Tyrion was the one who was supposed to kill her, including Cersei. But it's the total switch. Well, nope. It's actually Jaime who's going to kill you. That's what it was.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to keep this all
there's
in the
a
noggin there.
There's a lot. But it's kind of...
So thank you.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you to the Facebook help.
John says Jon Snow and Daenerys are going to get married and gain the throne.
That's what I think.
But aren't they? They're related though.
Yeah, they're cousins. But
I mean,
who cares?
Yeah, Game of Thrones. They don't care. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that one. I just don't see it happening.
Well, it's called A Song of Fire and Ice. He's ice. She's fire.
I know. I think they die.
Seems kind of poetic. Maybe they do that, and then Sam takes
wins the Game of Thrones.
That's how did I not see that?
I know, and nobody saw it coming. It's all Sam.
You saw
he already did kill a White Walker.
You saw it coming.
See? Sam.
That's true.
Blowing some minds. Let's see. Vicky says, I never want to hear anyone talk condescendingly about me watching General Hospital again. It is a total soap opera.
Yeah, but
You're
General Hospital
right.
doesn't have so much violence and nudity.
That's true.
If a General Hospital had violence and nudity, be watching it.
Attention network executives.
I mean, really, to digress for a second here, have you noticed now that every popular hit series now has to have a fair share of violence and nudity?
Yeah.
Even Glow, which was surprising. I mean, I guess the nudity isn't surprising, but I guess it hasn't had much violence. But
I mean, it's a show about
wrestling. It is wrestling. So it's kind of got them both. It's just the new thing is if you don't show some skin, screw you, buddy.
Yeah.
You're out.
This is Ryan telling it like it is.
No, it's not me. I'm just saying that's what the deal is these days. If you don't show some skin, it's not a hit series anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well, at the end of the show, I'm going to talk about another thing that came out that does show some skin as well. So I guess that is kind of a common theme. We'll have
it is a big theme these days.
All right. Well, there we go. I kind of wrapped up some of the Game of Thrones series. There are so many out there. And so keep putting those here into the chat, letting us know what you think. Turkin says John will kill them all. John will just, I mean... Maybe.
I don't know. He hasn't proven himself as much of a warrior so far.
No.
He almost lost that war just by being an idiot.
Yeah. Jade says, all I heard was nude and wrestling. I think I found my new show. So
it's pretty good. And that Betty Dilpin is, I'll tell you.
And Keelan is asking us all to show some skin, so we'll have a hit series.
Right,
so we're going to have to, no. That really happened there. No, all right, we'll see what that does. See what the ratings hit. All right, so
I'll take my pants off. You can't really see them. Actually, my pants are usually off during the show.
Cut out that piece of audio.
They're usually off during the show, casino style.
People just don't know.
I don't want to hurt the pleat in the pants. All right, moving forward.
All right,
you just relax.
Anyway, Game of Thrones. There we go. So moving on from there, we're going to talk about we've got a lot of other things to get to too.
Just a lot of naked,
and it's just keeps on happening.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about some Suicide Squad news. We've got some Justice League news. We've got some Luke Cage things. We're going to talk about Avatar, all kinds of movie and television series updates. Let's talk about the weekend box office really quick.
Yeah, very quick,
because there's really only one movie that we could actually recommend.
That we're recommending.
Yeah, that I want to see, and that is War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
So we are getting that.
I'm amazed. Like, I didn't even know if the trailers looked that good, but this thing is blowing up, like, as far as the critics. Everybody loves it, and they're saying it's the best in the series. I have to admit, I haven't followed this series at all.
Oh, man, I love it.
I know, and it's, like, really big, and I guess I just really felt bad for Caesar, and I didn't want to have, like, another Project X thing going on, like Matthew Broderick style, and I just didn't want to watch the first one.
Caesar,
so I just haven't caught up.
Caesar's doing all right for himself. Yeah.
Well, I see that in the trailers. Yeah, he's kicking some ass. I get it, but the whole betrayal there, and also the fact that it's just
ends up, right?
Well, yeah, and the fact that it's just a reboot. I'm like, I know this story. It's like the Charlton Heston thing. That's the whole deal.
Well, this is the prequel.
It's the prequel. I get it.
Yeah. So this is.
But they already made that terrible Mark Wahlberg.
That
reboot,
one was awful,
and that really threw me off the whole Planet of the Apes reboot thing.
And I can understand that.
But this is getting a 94%, 8.2 average. People are saying it's the best in the series. People are saying that this trilogy is one of the most groundbreaking trilogies, as far as the CGI especially, but the acting too. And
I will say this: it's been
pretty cool.
It's been really, really good. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is fantastic.
I'm just gonna have to sit down and watch them all.
Yeah, you need to watch them in the front because you have to watch the first one. That's how they explain everything. And then Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, you really get into it, and you start to understand what's happened. And this one looks like this is finally, obviously, the war.
It's just so dark too, though. I think that's one of the reasons I haven't checked.
It's not a happy movie.
I know. I'm kind of looking for like escapism in my blockbusters these days. Lord knows why.
Yeah,
but I get it. It does look cool.
It doesn't make humans look very good.
No,
I'll say that. And
most things don't. If you've noticed.
There's really nothing happy about either of the movies now that I think about it. But they're really well done. They're really good. Yeah. So Adrian says, "Wow, apes riding horses." So
we've seen that. We've seen plenty of that.
All right, moving on to a couple of other things here. Maybe we should bump this one down. Let's go to Suicide Squad now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so we'll come back and talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about Suicide Squad. So some DC comic movie
Suicide Squad 2.
Suicide Squad 2.
We have some updates. Why do we need
I know. Still Suicide Squad, the first one, had potential, but it didn't really work for me. And I think I'm not the only one.
No.
But we are getting Suicide Squad 2. If nothing else, just to see Margot Robbie is probably why they're doing that. So the Suicide Squad 2 is so we have a director finally, and I've heard
a contender.
A contender. Seems like DC movies have such a problem getting directors.
Yeah,
like on all of them.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So who is this person that we have now? The contender.
So you're gonna make me say it, aren't you?
Yes, exactly. That's totally why I passed.
I have no clue how to say his name. It's like Jaume Collier Serra.
Oh, sounds good.
Something like that. But
no,
he's
just
the guy
say it
that
with
did
confidence. Nobody else knows.
He's the guy that did The Shallows, and if you haven't seen The Shallows, it's the best shark movie since Jaws. It's so cool, very fun.
The Shallows is the one where she's stuck on the
And I didn't even like Blake Lively, but I was like, she killed it in that movie.
I will not watch that.
I have not seen her in a good movie before that, and I don't think I've seen one after. But I don't know if she's done anything big after, but she's good in The Shallows, and it's hard to do because she's basically the only one in it.
Yeah, no, I can't do those movies where they're straight out in the ocean.
So that director, so that's a good sign, I suppose.
All right, so maybe we finally have a director for Suicide Squad 2. All right, the other thing we did get today, as far as DC movie news, we got a Justice League photo, because that is still happening.
From the set. There's a lot of crotch.
Yeah.
Speaking of nudity.
You're just all about the nudity.
Well, it's not my fault. This is the world we live in, Greg.
We do have the new Batman suits.
There's a lot of Batman crotch.
If you are watching this live, you can see what we're talking about. This is the picture release. I think Entertainment Weekly had this, and it's of The Flash, Batman, and Wonder Woman all standing together. Batman's new suit is... Yep.
It's very forthcoming.
Very provocative. I don't know. Provocative is the wrong word.
Wonder Woman looks great.
Yeah. At least there's no nipples on it. So
yeah, and she's got a cool new skirt. It's like metallic or something. I think it's different. I think it's different than the last one.
Yeah. But, well, anyway, it's still happening. We're still getting that. I understand one quick side thing we didn't have here for the Batman movie. It sounds like they are throwing out Ben Affleck's script. I just saw that.
Yeah.
And starting all over.
That's right.
So,
and it's a weird deal because Matt Reeves basically just came in and took over everything.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
All right. Well, let's. So there's the DC movie news. We've got some Marvel movie news here, or television series news here in just a second. But before we get to that, let's talk about this Avatar. Avatar thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's going on? So Avatar, in case you didn't know, they are getting sequels. Yeah. Avatar is getting a sequel. We've been hearing this forever. Yeah, and now there's 4 sequels. There's going to be 5 total Avatar movies?
Yeah, they've been planned for a while, I think, this 4. I think they've been planned for 5 years or something. But then they were supposed to start in 2017, and they've been pushed back.
So 2009 is when the first one came out, right?
Right, and we've had information in between. We had information that, for one thing, James Cameron was working with 48 frame for a while for some of his 3D effects, which 48 frame has sort of gone away. That was like the big thing that the Hobbit movies were doing.
Okay.
It's hard to make it look natural on screen. It kind of ends up looking soap opera-y. Is that a word?
Sure.
On screen. So Cameron has been just sort of, who knows what he's doing. But this week we got some news from Sigourney Weaver, who said that there is a very good reason, quote, for these sequels.
Okay.
Whatever that might mean.
So,
and she also basically said to the effect, trust James Cameron. He knows what he's doing. Now, this is something that I have been saying, regardless and in the face of this craziness that is these sequels, that the first one's going to come out 11 years after the original in 2020, that the sequels are all being made as one sort of big thing, and then the next one's going to come out in 2021, then we have 2024 and 2025. I mean, this is like the future.
Yeah, this is a
pretty deep into the future.
Out.
But the thing about James Cameron is every single time you count him out, he's over budget. He spent an extra 4 months of reshoots. It's just too lavish. It's stupid. It's not going to work. The special effects are, he's pushing the limit too hard. Every time that happens, and everybody counts him out, he comes up with a movie that blows everything out of the water.
Rascally James Cameron.
Yep. He did it with Terminator 2. He did it with Titanic. It's like one thing after another. Every time people think that it's going to be the biggest flop, it becomes the biggest movie in the world.
Avatar movies, though. Avatar 2 in 2020, 3 in 2021, Avatar 4 in 2024, Avatar 5 in 2025.
Right. She also additionally said that we can expect the franchise to continue along the same arc it established with the original story, sort of the whole
Unobtainium
planet in peril, the whole like,
which is the worst name for a fake
Unobtainium.
It's Unobtainium.
It's very X-Men, I think.
Yeah,
but
well,
comic books don't always have the best names either.
There we go. So 4 more Avatar movies to look forward to if you can make it to 2025. So
if we can all make it to
2025
before the mass extinction event,
right? Exactly. All right, so let's get back to some Marvel things and Netflix in particular. We've got a few things coming up from Netflix. One, this is one of my favorite series of all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you throw in the television side, is Luke Cage. If you have not seen the Luke Cage series on Netflix yet, you are missing out. It is so good. And we are getting, the Defenders are coming out. I didn't write down the date, but I believe end of this month or beginning of August, the Defenders will be on Netflix, and we'll talk more about that going forward in the next couple of episodes. But Luke Cage is getting a season 2, so it is supposed to premiere sometime in 2018, and we got a little bit of information on it in that Lucy Liu is going to be directing the first episode.
Yeah, and people are really excited about this. I'm not really sure why. I mean, that's great. Yeah. That's cool that she's directing an episode. I'm just not sure why this is like a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just exciting, I think, to talk about Luke Cage for most people. I think is what it really comes down to.
I guess so.
We also know that returning for the second season will be Simone Missick as Misty Knight, Rosario Dawson as Claire Temple, Alfre Woodard as Mariah Dillard, so Mariah's back as well. And then you've got... let's see, several other actors. So Mustafa Shaker is John McIver, a character described as a natural leader, brimming with charisma, whose mission is focused on Harlem and vengeance. And then also in season 2, you will get Gabrielle Dennis as Tilda Johnson, described as a brilliant, holistic doctor with a complicated history in Harlem, where as much as she tries to stay far from trouble, it always seems to find her. So we'll see what happens with this. But Luke Cage, I mean, the second season now he's a hero.
Right.
People know who he is.
And it's going to be post-Defenders, so we'll have to see how that all plays out. We'll have to see how Defenders plays out to see what his next story arc is going to be, because I doubt they're going to jump back.
No, probably Defenders will shape all 4 of them for the next, going forward.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, the only thing that I have as a critical point about Luke Cage is that I thought switching the bad guys made it a lesser show. It wasn't as cool. The Cobra dude or whatever his name was.
Yeah. Cottonmouth?
Cottonmouth, yeah. Sorry. Jeez. He just wasn't as cool, I don't know, as Mahershala Ali.
Or, I'm sorry, Diamondback.
Or Diamondback, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali is pretty amazing.
He's so
in that.
great.
Dude,
I wanted him to be
he's money
throughout
in
the
everything.
whole series, and then the new guy was like kind of jokey. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. He reminded me of a little bit of the Joker in the old Batman TV shows.
Yeah.
He was just a little bit too over the top for me.
Yeah.
But I still love the series. The music, just Luke
Best
Cage
soundtrack
himself
by
is just
far,
such a
yeah.
badass and such a good character.
Yeah.
That I still love the series, but I hope that they can do a little better. Towards the push at the end of it. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
All right, well, let's get some other announcements here from Netflix. We're also going to have some things from HBO, including Westworld Season 2 news.
Yeah.
But just to run through a couple other things for Netflix, there is a new series coming out on July 21st with Jason Bateman, and it is not a comedy. It's
Right.
called Ozark, and it stars Jason Bateman and Laura Linney. It's written by Bill Dubuque, who wrote The Accountant, if you're familiar with that movie. And it stars Bateman and Linney are the heads of a seemingly normal family with 2 teenage kids. They were money launderers for this, or they handled the accounting and money laundering for a Mexican drug cartel. They try to get out of the business and go hide in a small town in Missouri, and of course, that never works for them. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a series. So, and they live happily ever after, and nothing happens. And,
Yeah, and then they just chill out.
Yep, and the kids graduate high school.
Yeah.
No, so of course, everything starts showing back up to him. His old partner dies. The FBI's on their trail. It looks like kind of a thriller. It reminds me a bit of just not the storyline so much, but a little bit of like Bloodline.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
A little Bloodline feel to it.
I think this could be really cool, depending on the writing, of course. It's going to be interesting to see Jason Bateman in this kind of role. He's been doing more serious roles lately.
Right.
And I don't know, I heard him once in a Mark Maron interview. He's got like some darkness in him. Like,
Yeah.
he's a really funny guy. He's really great at playing the straight man, or the goofy guy in some roles. But he's got a little bit of that darkness in him that I think he can use to his advantage. So it should be interesting.
Okay. Well, there we go. So, Ozark.
Yeah, he was a child star, so he's been through a lot of crap.
Yeah, what was his series? Why am I blanking?
Oh, what is it? It's not. It's not
Sandy Duncan.
Yeah,
and
with
all that
Sandy
stuff.
Duncan.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sandy
totally.
Duncan and her left eye.
I remember
All
like one series,
glass
like
eye.
one exact scene from that, and that's all I remember.
Okay. Well, I'm sure somebody can help us out in the live chat.
Yeah.
Not too important. Somebody else coming back to a series on Netflix is Michael C. Hall. Just wanted to get this announcement
Yeah,
out.
Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter coming back with a series called Safe that is going to be on Netflix. It centers on Dexter, Michael C. Hall, who plays a British pediatric surgeon who is left to raise 2 teenage daughters on his own following the death of his wife. All seems safe, but in their gated community. But then, of course, stuff happens. So there's a murder and disappearance and a bunch of drama. So it's an 8-part series that also stars Amanda Abington from Sherlock, and it's going to be coming out in 2018. So just
I
let
hope
you know
this
about
is
that.
good. I mean,
The Hogan family. Thank
Hogan
you.
family.
Thank you, Vicky.
Nice.
Vicky with the save.
Yes. I hope this is going to be good because Michael C. Hall is amazing.
Yeah.
And so it'd be great to see him in something good again.
Okay, and if you're just tuning in, again, we were talking about Game of Thrones at the beginning of this episode. We are going to kind of hit back on it. So if you do have some other theories, go ahead and drop those in there. I'm realizing what time it is, though, so maybe we should bust through some of these other ones. We
Sure.
have some news about Transformers, the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah, the Bumblebee movie.
is getting a spin-off. Is that really necessary, or is it going to be good? What do you think?
well,
I want your opinion.
We've gotten some new information about it
Okay.
that seems to suggest that it's going to be less of the debacle that the Transformers 5 movie was.
Okay.
I think it's going to be pretty disconnected from that because it's a spin-off, but what makes me think that especially is that we now know it is set in the 80s.
Okay.
So it is a prequel movie.
Okay.
And Bumblebee is going to have his own story in this. So my guess is that it's going to leverage the hottest trend, or at least last year's hottest trend, which is the Stranger Things idea, the E.T. look, or something like that. One of those older TV shows, where it's like, or those older movies or TV shows that Stranger Things pulled, that Spielberg idea, the Goonies look, whatever it might be. So that's what it's starting to look like, and that could be interesting. But yeah, we got some casting information on this as well. Haley Steinfeld is the lead, and then we also found out that Jorge Ledenberg Jr. is in it, and he was in the Spider-Man. He was the guy. Have you seen the new Spider-Man yet?
No.
He's the guy in the school announcements on the new Spider-Man, which is one of the funniest parts of the new Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Haley Steinfeld's starring it?
Yeah. She was in True Grit. We'll see. Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be tough to see if this is gonna work. But
Right.
the '80s connection makes me think
That might
it could be
work
cool.
out. That might be a little bit better. If they do some homages to the actual original animated series, that'd be cool.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, that's where Transformers belongs, right?
Right.
And so, who best to like jump onto that Stranger Things nostalgia than them?
That's true.
You know.
All right. Well, bouncing to some HBO news.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Westworld season 2. We did it. It's not really a trailer. It's a weird teaser they promoted, and mainly I wanted to play this. There's a voiceover to it of Anthony Hopkins talking about something going wrong. The main reason I wanted to put this up is to let people know, season 2 is not going to be out until I think maybe later this year, next year. I have to double check on that. But the key thing is they have a website called discoverwestworld.com, which if you haven't explored it, it's a pretty great marketing piece. They make it seem like it's actually the Westworld
Like
website.
you're going to go there and
You're
sign up
going to
for
go
it.
there. They've got all kinds of different segments on it where you can pick which world you're going to go to or what you want to explore. And
Yeah.
it's pretty fun. And then this is an interruption that happens because clearly there's something going wrong at Westworld. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could say that.
yeah, so that is something I just wanted to let people know about. So Westworld season 2, check out the website discoverwestworld.com.
And we'll get that next year in between Game of Thrones.
That's
as they
it.
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so let's get on to the next thing here. We've
James
got
Franco playing
James
twins.
Franco playing twins. Yes. Another HBO
I don't know
series.
how this one's gonna work.
Another HBO series, and this is coming soon, September 10th. It's going to be premiering.
Yeah.
It's called The Deuce, and it's set in the 70s and 80s in New York when it was, extra seedy. It looks like kind of downtown, maybe Times Square-ish area. And James Franco plays a set of twins who both apparently have mustaches, I believe.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it was the 70s.
yeah, and they are twin porn magnets. And so this is them going through this. Obviously, there's like some mob connections that happen in this trailer. There's a lot of drinking. There's
It's the
lot of
Deep
porn.
Throat era and
Deep
not
Throat
the
era.
Nixon thing.
Yeah. So
Should be really cool. Maggie Gyllenhaal's in it, so that
Maggie
looks
Gyllenhaal.
interesting. She plays a prostitute. I think the idea is that he takes prostitutes and turns them into porn stars to make
that sounds
make some
about
money,
right.
Get them
Yeah.
off the street.
And they do have some people that were in The Wire because the creator is David Simon of The Wire, and that's the reason that I
That
want to get it.
is a very good. Yeah,
That's a
that
good
is a very good reason to watch.
Yeah, and if you watch The Wire, D'Angelo Barksdale is in it. That's the character's name in there. They've got a bunch of people from The Wire that he cast in this, so that does give me a little bit of hope on it.
Yeah,
We'll see.
What's coming out
James
soon?
Franco as
September.
twins.
Yeah.
James Franco as twins.
I mean, never count him out. Sometimes he's cheesy in a movie. Sometimes he's awesome.
I like him.
You never know exactly what kind of performance you're going to get.
You're right. You're absolutely right
but
on that.
could be great.
All right, just a few other things to get to here on today's episode.
Yeah. Did you see the Tick trailer?
Yes.
What did you think?
I will watch it. So we're talking about The Tick, which is making a comeback on August 25th on Amazon, a whole series. So if you watch the original Tick back in, I think, 2001 was when the original the live action series was out with Patrick Warburton. This one with Peter Serafinowicz, I'm interested in watching it.
I mean,
it's a
it
different kind of superhero
looks-
thing because it's a comedy.
Yeah, it looks interesting. It's got a really weird vibe. Even like cinematically, like the way it's shot, it kind of has a strange vibe. He's got some really interesting lines. My question is, could they not get Patrick Warburton? Because wouldn't that have been cooler if he was like an older Tick and it was like sort of like, the Dark Knight Rises situation where he's almost past his prime, but he comes out of retirement or something like that.
That's not a bad take on it.
I think that would have been more interesting than
Yeah.
just this new guy who I don't really know that much about. So.
Peter Serafinowicz has been around for a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I don't know if I know exactly what he's from, but yeah, of course, I've heard the name.
I'm blanking right now, but I know he's done a lot of things. Let's see, he's in Guardians of the Galaxy, he's in Shaun of the Dead.
Right,
He's
he was also in...
voice actor. He's Darth Maul, or the voice of Darth Maul.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
He was also in, like, Parks and Rec for... he did a little arc in Parks and Rec as the rich nobleman, the British nobleman that hangs out with Chris Pratt. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll check it
You're not
out.
that excited.
I don't know if I'm going to... Well, I don't know if I'm going to go through all the episodes.
Okay.
I'll give it a shot.
Well, we've got so there we go. The Tick, that's going to be August 25th on Amazon. Just a few other things here to get to, and then we're going to wrap it up. I do have a Between the Cracks, which is something that it's new, but I want I want to get attention to it.
All right.
But before we get to that, just some casting news to update on. Daniel Craig reportedly finally back doing another Bond movie.
Yeah, I don't know if you even call this casting news. This has been such a drama story. It's
he's gonna do it or he's not gonna do it. He's gonna do it. It's like, just cast somebody else.
Well, and he said he was going to slit his wrist. He would rather slash his wrist than play Bond again.
Mm-hmm.
And amidst all this was also an interview recently with Christopher Nolan, who says he would love to do a James Bond movie.
That'd be
so now people are getting all excited, like, what if Christopher Nolan and Daniel Craig teamed up
in a world?
But I don't think that that's possible, because I think that Christopher Nolan, he even said so, that he would do it if it's some kind of reimagining. This would not be a reimagining.
No.
I mean, he'll only do it if he can, like, make it in his own, self-image.
Like the Dark Knight, the Dark
Bond.
Bond.
It would be the Dark Knight Bond.
Yeah.
That's not a bad name.
No, I would watch it.
I don't think Christopher Nolan's in. I think it's odd that Craig's back. And, we had all these different Bonds that were, all these different people that were talked about it for months and months. Idris Elba, Tom Hardy, James Norton. What I think really happened is that Tom Hiddleston was who they wanted to be the new Bond.
Yeah.
After The Night Manager. And then he started flailing around in the water with Taylor Swift. And I swear they were just like, that's not James Bond. Hey, nope. Daniel, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know.
See. Well, anyway, he's supposedly back.
He's going to come back.
There you go.
We don't have a director. We don't know. I don't think Sam Mendes is coming back, so we'll see.
So it's a giant mess.
A little bit.
Something else that's happening, I just want to update on this casting news because I think it's really cool because this is kind of bringing back some of my favorite actors ever. It's Martin Scorsese with his new movie that's going to be called The Irishman, and I believe they start filming in a couple of months for this.
And they're calling this a Joe Pesci comeback.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I saw him in something.
Joe Pesci retired.
Did he just retire?
He retired from movies probably, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a
while. And Martin Scorsese has already brought back Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Harvey Keitel, Bobby Cannavale.
He's getting the band back together.
And Joe Pesci was the holdout. And reportedly, he turned down the role 50 times before he finally agreed to do it.
Oh, my God.
To come out of retirement. So they must have just pestered him until finally he agreed. So he's going to be coming back. The whole movie's going to kind of revolve around the Teamsters and Jimmy Hoffa, who's played by Pacino, and just the whole story around it and the mafia with it. Also, Ray Romano now confirmed to be in it. So Ray Romano, I believe, is playing. He might be playing Joe Pesci's brother. There's some breakdowns that are kind of coming out about it. So yeah, he's playing his cousin-ish.
What happened to that dude? Ray Romano's like all of a sudden a good actor now.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I mean, I think he's always been a good actor. He's just had to get away from Everybody Loves Raymond.
I guess. I don't know if he was great in that. But yeah he started doing drama, and all of a sudden he got some chops.
Well, there we go. So there was some updates on that. I'm realizing we're starting to run out of time, so why don't we just do this between the cracks, and then we'll kind of wrap up if you have any more Game of Thrones theories.
Well, real quickly, Tarantino is directing a movie about Charles Manson.
Yeah.
That's something interesting.
Well, that's true.
We'll see how that's going to go down. I just wanted to talk about that because he doesn't make a film lightly. He only said he was going to make 10 ever, and I think he's got like 3 left or something. And now he's going to make one about Charlie Manson, so that is going to be very weird.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, with a Tarantino twist.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah, that is strange. So
anyway,
Tarantino making a Manson film.
Yeah.
All right, for Between the Cracks, this is our segment where we kind of highlight a television series or a movie that we think needs some attention. And this one legitimately did just come out, but it's so good. And I want to thank Rich behind the camera here for recommending it. And I watched it the other day. It's on HBO. It is a mockumentary. It is full of nudity, to get back to the nudity side of it. Probably not nudity you necessarily want to see, but it does happen.
Oh, well, there you
go. It's the whole premise is it takes place in the 1982, this is a reimagined, obviously, 1982 Tour de France. And it's written by Murray Miller, stars, I'm just going to say some of the stars. You can see some of them in the trailer, but there is an endless number of
Dolph Lundgren.
Andy Samberg, Orlando Bloom, Freddie Highmore, Daveed Diggs, and John Cena. John Cena is amazing in this. He is so damn funny.
Something no one's ever said before.
I know. He is so good in it, though. He's perfect. He's perfect in it. And it takes place in this fictionalized 1982 Tour de France where it's just a complete debacle and a mess, and it's this fake documentary.
And everybody's on drugs.
Yeah,
everybody's doped.
They do these flashbacks to the supposed 1982 scenes, and then flash forwards where they're interviewing everybody. The 1982 scenes, I guess they actually shot on Betamax and VHS.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like it.
So that's how they were actually shooting it, to give it the feel that it really was in the 80s. It's only 40 minutes. It's so funny.
I'm going to go watch that right now, I think.
It's an easy watch.
It looks hilarious.
It's really dumb, but it's just hilarious.
Which I like.
Yeah, really hilarious.
Nice.
So there we go. That's
James Marsden's in it, too.
There's so many people.
That's
You will be really surprised how many people are in this thing.
It's great.
So Tour de Pharmacy, that is on HBO. All right, wrapping up today's show. Extra long one because we are taking next week off.
That's right.
For a pretty good reason.
Yes,
I don't know if you want to
I'm
talk
getting
about that
married.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ryan is getting married.
And then I'm going to Hawaii.
So all that nudity talk, ladies. Sorry.
Yeah.
Off
Sorry,
limits.
ladies. But for the podcasters, we will be airing some vaulted episodes.
Some vaulted.
While
yes.
I'm out. Yeah.
Yep.
Possibly the first episode.
Ooh,
I think.
yeah, repackage.
We may do the pilot.
Do some repackaging.
Yeah. We're gonna be
I think it's a good idea.
airing the pilot.
So, kind of wrapping up what we're talking about Game of Thrones again on Sunday, and we've got some great articles at digitaltrends.com. You can check out. There's going to be one going up with all of these theories that we were talking about that you can take a look at. Vicky says congratulations.
Oh, why? Thank you.
Yes, and you can check out all of those right there at digitaltrends.com and throughout the weekend.
That's true.
Lots of things. And subscribe to our podcast. It's on iTunes and Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Just look up Between the Streams or Digital Trends. You will find us and subscribe to that. That would be awesome. So again, out next week. Congratulations to Ryan. And we'll be back at some point, but subscribe to the podcast.
We'll be back at some point.
We'll be back at some point. Subscribe to the podcast and you'll get those bonus episodes that will be going up as well. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Back sometime with another episode.
3 weeks.
3 weeks with another episode. Wasn't sure. All right, bye.